Pennsylvania lawmakers will return to Harrisburg next week after the State House passed legislation late Wednesday that would complete the budget. However, partisan disputes are muddying the water on what will happen next. Fox 43's Logan Perone spoke with Democrat and Republican leaders in the State House about where the budget goes from here.
More than 3 months into the fiscal year, and Pennsylvania's budget is still not finished. The House recently passed legislation to tie up loose ends.
And what we did last week was move those bills over to the Senate.
Representative Jordan Harris, the majority appropriations chair, says the chamber addressed a variety of issues.
We passed a tax code, fiscal code, school code, and we also ran some bills around moving the primary election date.
However, Republican Representative Seth Grove says House and Senate leadership are on different pages, calling on Governor Shapiro to lead negotiations.
When you have an impasse between two parties, we need a third-party arbitrator to start negotiating. That has not happened.
And if it continues, it would keep the more than $1 billion in appropriations tied up.
There's a lot of dire funding that needs to go out there, and so it has direct impacts on Pennsylvania's health, welfare, and safety.
But what are those programs at risk? Well, the laws that fund emergency dispatch centers will expire, which could lead to counties to raise property taxes. The state's healthcare assessment that funds hospitals through Medicare won't go through, and various efforts to fund education in Pennsylvania would stall. The budget was among a handful of pieces of legislation that were voted on Wednesday evening, fueling frustration.
We can do better. I think the people expect us to do better, and we have yet to see better from the majority that promised us so much.
Republicans call the measure unconstitutional and against House rules.
One frustration citizens have is rules for me and not for thee, right? So if you want to make the rules, you got to follow the rules.
Democrats argue otherwise, and they say that the work needed to be done.
And we were doing the business of the people. I think Pennsylvanians want to know that their legislators are at work and doing the job of governing.
Logan Perone, Fox 43 News.
And one of those late night votes Wednesday was to change the election code. Democrats say it would change the date of the primary to not overlap with the Jewish holiday of Passover next year. Republicans say the bill was loaded with other amendments such as mail-in balloting and voter ID changes. The measure was rejected heavily with only 27 votes in favor.